planets of depression, Saturn. We get this word Saturnine. It's still in our culture because Saturn is the bringer of Saturnine states. And Saturn is the most astringent planet. He pulls energy inward like that. He presses out fluid. The more he presses in, he gets harder and harder like a piece of granite. So Saturn rules your bones and your strength, your wisdom. His color array is dark violet, or violet according to the Jyotish. In the West, he was thought of as black or even dark blue, the absence of light, which makes a lot of sense because he's opposite the sun, the bringer of light, and rules the signs opposite the sun, that is. So here is Saturn. And so what would be a Saturnine chart? It would be a chart dominated by this planet. The planet could be on an angle, usually the 1st or the 10th, could be closely conjunct sun or moon, afflicting sun or moon with a square opposition. A Saturnine chart could be a person who has many planets, sun, moon, or rising in one of the Saturn-ruled signs, Capricorn or Aquarius. So these are the Saturnian depressions. And so they didn't think in terms of dysthymia and postpartum and major and minor depressions. They thought in terms of Saturnian depressions, cold, wet depressions or cold, dry depressions. We had kind of three diagnoses. They were thinking about this a long time, folks. These modern takes on depression did not just come out of a hat. So let's look at the next slide, please, Tara. All right, the planets of depression, another one. It's not just all Saturn. There are two nodes, the south node of the moon and the north node of the moon. And these are where the moon crosses the ecliptic going up or down. When she's crossing the ecliptic going down into invisibility, every month it's where the ecliptic joins the Earth's horizon. You have the south node. And way back in the 2nd century, they're writing about how when you go to the market, like Dorotheus talks about, when you go to the market and the moon is conjunct the south node, things are going to be cheap. And when you're in the market, the moon is conjunct the north node, things are going to be expensive. But they started to get this, they started to watch how things were kind of going out, down, or sad or unlucky, or into yourself, or into the spirit, into meditation, away from the world on the south node. And you often lost things there. You have a planet there, you might lose that thing. Whereas the north node is where a lot of energy enters. Well, we've also found that when the moon is near either node, it can cause a lot of terrible depressions. Planets on the south node can be very diffusive, can become sad or depressed, suffer loss, especially the planets of joy, Jupiter and Venus. If they're on the south node, it's not so good for happiness. Good for a lot of other things, but you have to work on your happiness. So the south node is just as important, I have found, in dysthymia, which is our main type of depression. I thought I would tackle the most dreaded depression. Extreme states show in astrology very much in the natal chart. We all get depressed at some time in our life, and that can just be transits. So I wanted to choose the thing that would be most substantial, which is dysthymia. So we're going to be looking at the south node, and there's one more thing to look at here. How about the next slide? So you could have Neptunian depressions. Now, Neptune is the planet of the memory of the beautiful astral worlds before birth, after death, if you believe in that. A lot of people don't. But so Neptune is associated with a longing for things not of this earth, a desire to escape. People can escape through seeking the spirit, or they escape through drugs and alcohol, or sleeping. Neptune is the sleepiest of all planets, the most diffusive. He rules entropy, things falling apart. And so if people are highly Neptunian, they're the opposite of being highly Saturnian. They don't really want to be here. They may be born tired. They may not be able to be so psychically sensitive and open, they can't stand the outer world. And this can cause a lot of serious withdrawal and depression, or just wanting to, read comic books all day. Your Neptunian types. So this is these go with the Neptune is moist and cool or warm, depending on circumstances. He's definitely moist and phlegmatic. So Neptune and the water signs and the South Node, which is dribbly, all govern the cold, moist depressions. The South Node by nature is hot, but in water signs, he's letting go. He wants to go back to the other side. So those that don't want to be here, you get Neptune, or who are living in a fantasy world. The other thing, if you have a lot of rose-colored glasses on, you're eventually going to get crushed as you become an adult. And most of us have had this experience, the rose-colored glass effect. Neptune rules rose-colored glasses. And so when reality hits, some people become extremely depressed. In my generation, all of the dreams of the 60s have rather vanished. And, because Saturn's a realist, though the Saturnian is not unrealistic. The Saturnian just lacks moisture, just the opposite. They need moisture, they need love, they need affection, and they're very dry. So these extremes, cold, dry, and Saturnian, or cold, moist, and Neptunian, can bring on dysthymia.